It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. And to those of you who were kind enough to send messages, Miles, thank you to you. Trevor, a buddy I had not heard of in a while, thank you for reaching out. For people who I've been no podcast for a week, and for people who reached out after I threw up Wednesday's podcast, man, that was nice of you. Thank you for doing that. It really was fun to see some names of people just being kind about hearing the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you enjoy today's. We're going to run down memory lane with some stories about me in school and my daughter now being young. Talk about that. There was other stuff I wanted to talk about, but since I've hit record, I've forgotten everything that I wanted to talk about. Everything. It's not good. I know I wanted to mention the Seattle Mariners. I'm getting excited here. The Mariners are in a legitimate playoff run or a playoff push. Unlike the last couple of years where it's really been up in the air, like the Mariners are good. I think they're the 6th or 7th best team in baseball right now. And that's really good. They beat the Kansas City Royals the day I'm recording this Thursday. Beat the Royals, their 84th win of the season. I need to check when my phone dings. My phone dings all the time. If you don't believe me, if you Marco Polo me a lot, you'll hear the dings. Too many dings. I got to get that under control. Did our boy hit a homer tonight? Our boy. Did he hit a homer tonight? No, he did not. So there was no home run for Cal Raleigh. But he has, 56 right now? 56 homers. 4 away from 60, which I mentioned. That is the number. You get to 60, and you've done the dang thing. I had a weird day at work today, so I apologize if I'm rattled. There's a guy I work with who I just love, Ben. I just absolutely love this guy. He's been a great addition to the team. He's not old, he's young, but he's older than some of the other guys. I love him. He's somebody who I love working with him. I love being around him. He's a great dude. And he's kind of the guy I talk to the most at work. We're more similar in age. He's got a daughter who's my daughter's age. We just have some similarities. We both like skateboarding. He's a real man. I'm not. So that's where our differences lie. But he and I get along real well. You know, and it's fun to have him around. Today, we had a hectic moment at work, about a 30-minute, 40-minute. We're trying to figure some stuff out, some logistics, make things happen. He and I are trying to figure out how to make this PowerPoint presentation we got sent, trying to make it work on this screen we're using. None of that matters. So we're kind of in it. We're doing this stuff, and I'm getting ready to leave. I've got to pick up my daughter from school. He's got to go drop this TV off that we've just got all situated. So we're going to go our separate ways. And I did a thing that when my wife does it drives me crazy. I am talking to Ben, a grown man who knows how to drive from point A to point B, knows what time he needs to be there, knows all the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, probably. Now this is going to sound bad because I just said my wife does it. This is not my wife impersonation. This is the impersonation of me being dumb. That also then insinuated that my wife is dumb when she does that. That's not what let's just leave my wife out of this. Pretend I didn't say that. I'm not going to edit because I don't. I'm like, Ben, so if you need to be at this place at 4:30, you need to leave here at this time, and it will give you enough time to drive to the place. And then remember, you got to factor in. And as I was talking, I realized what a dumb thing to bring up to a grown-up who knows what the heck he's doing a lot more than I do. And so I, in my embarrassment, just started yelling at the top of my lungs in the building, which everyone hates. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta sit here and talk to a grown man about the times. And I was mocking myself for it. But to everyone except for Ben, everyone except for Ben understood where I was coming from, and Ben thought I was actually coming at him. And I left work all, in a tizzy. I'm yelling, I'm being loud, but it's to embarrass myself. And later he calls and he's like, hey, dude, are we good? Sorry I made you so mad. And that was the moment I realized I built a life of doing that every day on the radio. And so everyone knew the shtick because it was every day for a very long time. I don't have that life here. And so it was so jarring. And I sat there on the phone mortified. My best work friend is like, hey, dude, I am so sorry. I did not mean to make you mad. I'm sorry you're mad at me. I'm like, dude, it would take so much to make you mad at me. So I had a weird work day. I ticked off my best work friend, and now we're in a fight. And I don't know. I don't know how it ends. I might need to find a new best work friend. So that will be interesting. That'll be an interesting to find. We'll see how that goes. But I was so bad. Me like going back to olden days. Slim. I went to Slim mode and got out of Sean mode. And Slim is dead. And Sean is who lives in Lexington. So anyways, there's a story for you. That's not the story I wanted to tell you, though. Sorry, I just got sidetracked there because that's where my brain was. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, for those of you watching, this is going to be a little bit visual, but I will explain it for the OG podcast listeners. There's so many parts to this. And I want to start by saying my daughter has been making these, and they're really cute. She wants to make books. So this is Olivia Plays Soccer. And I'll read it. I'm holding it up for a video, but I'll read it to you. And it's got diagrams, big diagrams on all these pages. Olivia plays soccer. Olivia went to soccer. Next page, Olivia was at soccer. And there she is with a soccer ball. And then finally, Olivia was home. And that's the book, right? And she's got a ton of these. We have Olivia Plays Soccer. This one, Herman the Worm, is a long one. This is like a 10-pager. Herman the Worm ate 6 apples. I think this is a real story that she's heard. Herman the Worm ate 7 apples. Herman the Worm, we've got the dot. This is a picture of the dot. I don't know. Sometimes the reading is kind of tough. The air there told them to draw a dot. These are ones that as soon as she says it, you can do it. She drew a perfect dot. So she wrote this story about a dot. The teacher put art in the show. She's writing about like her school. She won't tell me what her school day was, but she'll write it in these books. So I'm going through all these books. They're so cute. And they're things I want to save because she's so passionate about it. When I was young in school, my daughter, I don't think will ever get in trouble at school. This is the kind of stuff she does. She makes these books. They're super cute. She gets stickers because she's a good listener. She's patient in class. She's a good listener. She's young and she's just not going to get in trouble. And I thought back to when I was young and I got in trouble in school. I was not great in school. I was really good at school. Okay, believe it or not, I make fun of my vocabulary. I have terrible people skills with my coworkers, but I was good at school once upon a time. I was really good at math. I was pretty good at science. I faked my way through English. I've always been a slow reader, which was a bummer. I did well at some of the others, the like social studies and Spanish class. I did well at those things, but I was a good student. And like I said, I was really, really good at math. I was just so bored in school. I was so bored in school, and it's not a good excuse, but my brain would start whirling because I'd get bored, and I'm like, why are we just still talking about this? Let's move on. My brain would start to move around, and I'm like, we need to do something in class that is more fun than this. So I would get people to do one of my favorite things in high school. This would tick teachers off. I think this is one of the things that made Leo Tenney very upset. But the thing that made Leo Tenney cry was not this. The thing that made Leo Tenney cry was me reading a magazine in class. I was also listening, and he did the teacher thing where he knows I'm distracted reading something, and he asks me a question about what was just going on in class, and I answered it exactly with what had been going on, just being a jerk. And then he looked at me, was planning on getting me in trouble, but my answer was better than, what Andrew Lee was going to say, who was paying attention. And he just broke down and cried at the counter. This is at the table. This was not good. Or at the podium in front of the class. This is not good. These are not good stories. Don't do this. But, there was that one. But the one that I loved doing, if you could get enough people in class to do it, and I could normally rally enough, in all parts of the room people to hum the same note. This is a legendary thing to do in class. So you get to like a you make that sound. You can do it with your mouth closed, straight face. And so you can't tell who's doing it. Right? Everyone's doing it. When everyone in class is doing it at the same note, it is insane the sound it makes, okay? And when the teacher walks over to a section of the classroom to try to figure out where it's coming from, that section can just turn it off. And it's a wild mental trick to a teacher. It is so bad, but it is so fun to a bored high school kid. I got in a lot of trouble for doing that. I got a lot of trouble for like back talk. It wasn't great. I was not a great kid. I think I was a fine kid. I just was not a great school kid. Okay. But this dates all the way back to when I was younger. I got ripped to the principal's office by my ear by John Peterson one time, because earlier in the day I had been reading a book. I had a book in my lap, in my desk. And so I had this book in my lap, in the desk, and he caught me reading it, and he was like, don't do that again. You've got to pay attention. Stop reading that Hardy Boys book. You cannot do that again. So later in class, I was bored, maybe 2 hours later, and I just pretended like I had the book right where it was earlier. I didn't. And I just looked down, not doing anything bad, just minding my business while the lecture was going on about whatever stupid thing we were learning about in 5th grade. But I just looked down, put my hands down by my lap where they were when I was holding the book, and I just looked down. And he took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And he looks up and starts marching toward me, says, "I told you not to read the book." And I just lifted my hands like, ta-da, magic. And he lost it, grabbed me by my ear, lifted me out of my seat, marched me down to the principal's office, threw me in the principal's office where Dave Schloneker was sitting. And Mr. Schloneker looked at me and said, "What happened?" And I'd never been to the principal's office before. And like I said, overall a good kid, fun person to have around the school. And he goes, "What happened?" And I said, "Mr. Peterson got me in trouble for him thinking that I was reading a book, but I wasn't reading a book." And he just looked at me, didn't question it at all, and just said, "Why don't we sit here for a couple minutes and then you can go back down to class." And we sat in his office and he didn't say anything to me. And I just sat there for probably 5 to 10 minutes. And then he goes, "Okay, man, go, you can head back down to the class." And that was it. Mr. Schloneker ruled. So I went down back to class and, that was it. But let's rewind it even further. 3rd grade. 3rd grade, and this is a bad story. These are bad stories. This includes lying to your parents, so don't do that either. 3rd grade, I'm in Henry Gertson's third grade classroom with my best friend Micah Huffman. I have decided that I am going to draw poop coming out of Buttcheeks because I'm in 3rd grade. So I draw it's going to be a mountain, but they're Buttcheeks, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to draw poop coming out of it. But, and in ultimate sacrilege, this is such a bad story. I'm going to lightly outline, it's going to look like a cross at our religious school, at our Christian school, missionary kids school. And so when you look at it, it's just a mountain with a cross on it. You can't do any wrong. But when you flip it over, Buttcheeks with poop, right? I mean, what are we doing? I'm in 3rd grade. And then I folded it up and I put on it secret password to open up drawing. And it was like, butt, poop, pee. Right? It was all the words 3rd grade boys. All these clever words, bottom, right? Beehole. I don't know what I wrote on there, but all the words. And somehow I dropped it on the ground in class and Henry Gertson found it. And so in the morning, he informs Micah Huffman and me, who had been passing this thing back and forth. I drugged Micah into this. Micah didn't deserve it. He informs us that for an hour after school, we are going to be staying in his classroom doing the Bart Simpson write 100 times. I will not I will not draw a poop out of Buttcheeks and sell it as the cross or whatever it was that he wanted us to write on there 100 times on a piece of paper. So, we went home for lunch. He's like, you need to tell your parents you'll be home. You'll be staying in my classroom. You got in trouble for this. So Micah Huffman goes home for lunch. He tells Beth and Frank, his mom and dad, hey, I got in trouble for this. I have to stay after school for afterwards and do 100 times, write this down. I went home and told my mom and dad, hey, after school, Micah and I are going to stay at the school and play for a while. That's not good. That's just a lie. And I got away with it. So not a great story. But in third grade, I got in trouble for that. Why do I tell this story? Why do I tell all these stories? Let me read you these books my daughter has made. Olivia plays soccer, Herman the Worm, The Dot. There's one upstairs called The Green Car. And then this one that I'm going to show you the video of called The Poop. That is Buttcheeks and poop coming out of it. All right? The Poop. The poop was from Buttcheeks. This book goes on to read. The poop, different story. I don't know what that is. The Poop went to the Dot. So now we've combined books. The Poop went to the Dot. The Poop went to Herman the Worm. So now the Poop is just visiting her other books. And then the Poop went back in his door. That is a Buttcheeks and poop. And Henry Gertson has not made her stay after school. But the trajectory is there for my sweet girl. The Poop. That is the book. I had to lie to my parents to get out of writing 100 times. I will not write poop, Buttcheeks, pee on a piece of paper. I had to write it 100 times. I had to lie to my parents to get out of that. Olivia just walks into the room, the basement where Huck and I were playing and says, Dad, read this book. This is called The Poop. And that's the difference in parenting and the difference in everything. And that's where we're at in this house. Really nice Buttcheeks. Poop. The Poop, Olivia's poop drawing could use some work. Either that or my daughter is, we need to take my daughter to the hospital. It's one of the two. So we either got to fine tune the drawings of the actual poop or she is having some major issues in her intestines. So there you go. There's the podcast. Are you glad it's back now? Are you glad? Are you all glad it's back now? Probably not. Monday's podcast will be delayed to Tuesday. There's going to be a reason for that, and it's going to be filled with some amazing stories. Trust you me. Trust you me. Tuesday's podcast. If it's not Tuesday, it will be Wednesday. You'll understand why. I'm looking at comments real quick. Were there any I needed to read from that last episode? Let's go to YouTube. I think Roberta was over there on YouTube. I think Roberta fired something off. What did Roberta say? Here we go. Opening page. Oh, by the way, the Critical Role Campaign 4 trailer dropped today. I mean, the hype level I've got is through the roof. Critical Role Campaign 4 starts October 2nd. Happy birthday, Aaron. They dropped a video about what characters are going to be played a couple days ago. And then a 1-minute quick trailer for kind of a setup of what's going to happen. Oh my gosh. I've watched it 30 times today. When I wasn't yelling at Ben, I was watching that. Roberta said this over on YouTube. She did not cough. She said, one never knows what's inside the bumper sticker ahead. Glad you and Kenny had a delightful visit and rekindling your childhood passion. Even if Woods did play Godzilla at the end. Yeah, it was true. Woods did wreck that Hot Wheels track, but it was fun. And you never know. I am writing down bad bumper stickers. So we're going to have an episode coming up where I just read off all the new things that I don't like because of drivers. Yvonne says, what's happening with the reverb and feedback? Migraines do suck. Hate them. Have had a few lately. Yvonne, apparently just go get yourself brain freeze. We learned that. And I messed up on the video, on the YouTube video last episode. I double audioed. I had the audio track going twice, so it was all echoey. But I think if you were on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, it was good. Spokane Ian says this about the brain freeze. Yeah, it doesn't work for everyone, but those who can get really bad brain freeze definitely works. The abridged version is your brain turns off its pain receptors temporarily, and when they come back on, the migraine doesn't register. It's like using tare on a scale. I don't know what that means, but I do know that sounds sick. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. And if you would like to order The Poop by Olivia Widmer, I will send that to you for free. So it's not in my house, because as soon as my oldest son learns to read, he is really going to like that book too much. All right, goodbye.